like it's the end of the world. 13 angels standing guard around the side of your bed. All is violent, all is bright. You are going the right way. East Hastings. Your hand in mine. These are all songs in the curious genre of post-rock. It's probably the least rock-sounding subgenre ever. A niche, mostly instrumental genre, post-rock emphasizes texture, tone, and sound quality over the classic rock structures and traditional chords and riffs. The term post-rock originated from an interview with Paul Cox, a co-founder of the Too Pure label. To quote him, "They were an indie band who didn't want to be an indie band." This was the description given to Seafeel, one of his acts. "They were an indie band who didn't want to be an indie band" is obviously quite a mouthful to describe a genre, and so on. In a 1994 issue of The Wire, critic Simon Reynolds dubbed the music post-rock. Post-rock began, capturing grunge, electronics, and more in an attempt to move past the fast-paced, hype-inducing classic rock that was consuming the decade. But for that little genre, their original description fit well. An indie band who didn't want to be an indie band. They were still indie at heart, and the nicheness of the genre led to failure in signifying a new revolution of music. Instead, in trying to not be indie, these bands stumbled and created something new, beautiful, and secret. The definition of post-rock has always been generally accepted. It means avant-rock or out-rock, something that's drifted apart from the massive genre that's half of its name. There are many words I'd use to describe the sound and atmosphere of post-rock. Droning, majestic, apocalyptic. Many words that seem to contrast. How can it be both beautiful and desolate? To me, post-rock has a lot to do with the post in its name. It's after. After what? Well, I'm not sure either. I guess it's what you make of it. There's something satisfying yet unsatisfying about mystery and ambiguity. Post-rock displays a melancholy sadness that's hard to define, because we don't know what's been lost or whether there's anything that comes back. And this weird feeling is shown best in the music, the art, and the titles. It's like a beautiful painting of a wasteland. I think one of the best albums that demonstrates this is All Is Violent, All Is Bright by the group God Is an Astronaut. All Is Violent, All Is Bright has some curious hints as to this post-rock feeling. The album cover feels both desolate and hopeless, but contrasts that and makes it less one-sided with its scale. A lone silhouette stands next to what appears to be the ruins of a house. We don't have any story. All we have is a man and a ruin. And with an album like this, it's enough. I think that there's a very repetitive association of post-rock and depression. Whenever I search up post-rock on YouTube, I find most of them to be highlighting the desolation and dark, heavy aspects of post-rock, the kind of stuff a depressed teen would be listening to in the middle of the night. But I think that a lot of these compilations and collections of music miss a bit of the point. The music is sad at times and creates a scale of something way bigger, highlighting how small we are in a dark world. But what's forgotten at times like these is that the music is just, how do I say it? It's gorgeous. It finds beauty. It finds a way to make its listeners marvel despite the circumstances, becoming almost inspiring with its scale. Post-rock is one of the few genres that genuinely left me speechless when I first heard it. With most of their songs lacking lyrics, which can sometimes be the heart and soul of music, in this case the instruments speak for themselves. The lack of a singer amplifies the feeling that the song's echoing around a desolate world, like a rallying cry for the little we have left. Having the instruments at the forefront just make it all the more intimate. a contrast from the sense of wonder and scale it creates. A metaphor I think about constantly would be calling post-rock an impending storm. Most post-rock pieces have a similar structure of starting something quiet and subtle to something heavy and impactful, like a storm rushing in. But to me, that storm isn't one of death and destruction. To me, it's the part of the storm that you admire. The kind that you can't help but marvel at as you see the lightning strike in the distance. A beautiful force of nature. Is it emotional? Impactful? Yes. But that feels like being in the eye of the storm, where all is violent and all is bright. Post-rock doesn't have to be about sadness. It can be about finding the wonder and beauty in that sadness. Explosions in the Sky has an album called The Earth Is Not a Cold Dead Place. It's a message that's found in many similar albums. During a 1998 performance at the Metropolis, the band Godspeed You Black Emperor made a monologue to read out to the audience. I think it explains itself really well, so I'll play it in its entirety.
Nobody we know owns anything. Many of us will never own anything at all. We're tired, feeling bewildered. Tired helplessness. We want many, many things to end soon. These times when everything is denied us, anything is possible. But everyday, stubborn, clumsy, beautiful ideas rot on the withering vine. We're tired of this state of affairs. We've called for end paranoia, self-intimidation, and fear. Meanwhile, the world sits as if nothing has happened at all. We're all still waiting. We dedicate this to everyone who couldn't afford $30 price tag. We dedicate this to girls kissing girls, boys kissing boys, girls kissing boys, and everything in between. We dedicate this to every Christmas. Look. The future is sweet, uncertain, beautiful. Tomorrow may not come and arrest us all. Only if you listen close and can you hear the machines beneath the sidewalk whispering. The machines beneath the sidewalk are all whispering. Try to listen close. Please, pardon me, please. Don't be afraid. The end of the world will never come.
In the dark, there's hope. That's something this genre teaches. Despite all the chaos, the ruin, riots, violence, and apocalyptic events, we're left here with a single ruin and an infinite hope for things to come. Post-rock is beautiful. It's one of those genres that can provide a personal appeal to everyone listening. They're like reaching a milestone in life. There's still that desolation that makes you feel down, but at the same time, there's a shining light that lets you accept that and keep going. So, keep going.